Probably all of us have already heard about dopamine, the magic molecule that is responsible for our drive, motivation, and satisfaction. If people experience an increase in dopamine, they describe it like a feeling of being happy and willing to achieve greatness. All of these things sound great, right? But how can we control these dopamine increases and use it to our advantage, and which easy changes can we make during our day to reach this fantastic state of our body? Hello and welcome to another episode of Brain Factory, the channel that provides content you need to reach your goals, live a healthy lifestyle, and simply enjoy life. All of our content is prepared in simple and compact explanation videos. A common problem nowadays is that many people feel tired, down, and unmotivated. We want to become successful, happy, and motivated, but we're missing the right drive. Many people out there have great ideas about how they can get financially free with a business idea or how they can lose weight by changing their daily eating and training routine. Our ideas often sound amazing and come with a lot of motivation first, and we immediately get to work. But this first high is often followed by a big low, and we stop continuing and sometimes even forget the idea completely. But why is that, and how can we change this? In this video, you will learn tools to manage the release of dopamine and how to achieve a higher motivation and happiness by changing your behavior. First, it is important to understand what dopamine actually is and how it works. Dopamine is a molecule in our brain which, when released, tends to make you look outside yourself. You want to pursue and crave things outside of yourself. When dopamine is released, it always brings a release in epinephrine with it. While dopamine is responsible to give us the right drive and motivation, epinephrine is responsible to bring the needed energy for execution. We all have our individual baseline of dopamine. So throughout the day, we experience many increases and decreases of dopamine. Important to know here is that each dopamine rise above baseline comes with a fall in dopamine level below baseline. The reason for this can be found when we look back at the evolution of humanity. Let's say thousands of years ago, a man decided to go out and hunt animals because he wants to provide food for his family. To get the motivation and drive to go hunting and actually kill an animal, his body requires an increase in dopamine and epinephrine. After the animal is killed, the dopamine level reaches its top and then starts to fall again so the body can relax. This fall is not only necessary to give the body time to relax, it is also necessary to make sure the man does not stop hunting to get food for his family so they can survive. Again, dopamine gives us the drive and motivation to do something. In this case, to go out and hunt again. So this basically means after each high we experience, we will also experience a low as soon as the dopamine level falls again. The current level of dopamine circulation in our system then decides how we feel, how our mood is, and how motivated we are in that moment. The good thing is, just by changing our environment, changing what we eat or drink, or by changing our mental state of mind, we can achieve dopamine highs. The European Journal of Physiology set up an interesting experiment in which they tried to find out how cold water affects our body. In this test, they put 3 people in 3 separate tanks of water with different temperatures, 90, 70, and 57 degrees, for 1 hour. The result of this experiment was that the person who stayed in the colder 57-degree water experienced a big dopamine increase about 250% above baseline. And the more interesting fact is that this increase in dopamine stayed long after the person already left the bath. So cold water exposure can definitely help us to increase dopamine sustainably, and therefore we don't need to stay in the cold for an hour like the person in the experiment. No, 5 to 10 minutes cold water exposure per day can already increase our dopamine levels sustainably. A lot of people think that they can reach a dopamine increase with caffeine, which is only partly true. Yes, caffeine increases our dopamine, but the impact is not even worth mentioning. But what caffeine does is, it increases the sensibility of our dopamine receptors, which makes us able to feel the upcoming dopamine effects more intensely. Caffeine therefore can be seen as a domain booster. Here it is important to mention that it is not healthy to overconsume caffeine. Of course, there are also a lot of unhealthy things which trigger a dopamine increase in our body, like chocolate, which increases our dopamine level 1.5 times, nicotine, which increases our level 2.5 times, cocaine, 2.5 times, amphetamine, 10 times. We often enjoy the dopamine increase of these mentioned substances a lot, which then could easily lead to addiction. As we already know, each dopamine increase above baseline will lead to a dopamine drop below baseline. Let's say we smoke a cigar and our dopamine rises and we feel great. A while after enjoying it, we notice we sometimes even feel bad or worse than before smoking a cigar because our dopamine falls below baseline. We then try to raise our level again by smoking another one, but the new baseline for this rise is now below the initial baseline. If we keep doing this over and over again, our dopamine baseline will drop further and further, and we won't feel the positive effect anymore. It will just help us from, let's say, feeling really bad to bad. Therefore, it is really important for us to keep a healthy baseline. If we really want to enjoy and experience the dopamine rises to its fullest, and if we want to feel happiness, drive, and motivation consistently, we need to learn how to control our dopamine rises. For example, many people sign a membership at the gym and feel super motivated. They tell themselves it will be great and they plan to go to the gym every day. What happens is, people go to the gym the first time, they feel great. They go to the gym the second time, they feel great. When they go to the gym the third time, they expect to feel great again, but it can happen that it just doesn't give them the same positive feeling. They have the same protein shake, the same music, and the same favorite sports shoes, but they don't feel the same dopamine rise like the last time. And here is where it gets interesting. To keep a healthy baseline in dopamine and to feel consistent happiness, drive, and motivation, we need to mix up our routine in dopamine rises. For example, if you always listen to your favorite music, you always have your favorite protein shake with you, and you always go with your best friend, you need to mix it up. Decide to go without music sometimes, decide to only get the protein shake you love only on special workout days, and so on. This is the only way to feel sustainable dopamine rises and to remain a healthy baseline, which leads to consistent happiness, drive, and motivation. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and you can use these tips and integrate them into your daily routine. Thank you for watching. We would appreciate it if you subscribe to our channel for more videos like this and to click the notification button so you don't miss the next video of Brain Factory.